Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to Soul Sisters Real Raw Talk Show. And today, introducing my beautiful soul sister, Jaya, and myself, Erika. And we just want to have a real and raw conversation about ascension symptoms, about living in the quantum field, in the present, in this eternal now, and all that it is in a very casual conversation. So join us, grab your coffee and join us. So, how are you doing, my beautiful friend?
Hi, beautiful. I'm doing good, but I can absolutely feel the symptoms and everything going on. I woke like 2 days, or maybe it's several, this week. I have woken up around 3 a.m. for maybe 1.5 hours with a lot of downloads as well, and going into the kind of the areas like energy and fire energies with okay, can I just share what came to my mind this night? It was actually kind of the collective energy of trauma dumping. My dear soul brother Leland, we talked about just the wording trauma dumping, but I kind of like it because it's like everything that's going on is just being dumped out, like with no responsibility how it will land. It's like, because I see everything that we are speaking is like words are spells.
The writing there we are creating.
So I feel like there is so much like beauty, but also so much, it's like a shit show. I don't know, with all the energies and all the symptoms and everything. So what do you feel like right now?
I feel all the feels
Feel
because
it
I'm
right away.
also a great worker. So I also contribute in that way. I wake up in the middle of the night,
Yeah.
usually 2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
and I do breath work. And I don't know how I don't look tired, but I've been sleep deprived for quite a while. And I get a sense of what is all this moving. So there's a lot of things. I also work multidimensionally. So there's a lot of forces, and we tend to think like good and bad, but it's deeper than that. There's a lot of agendas trying to keep us in not in our truth, not in our knowing, not in our expansion. So there is that kind of push and pull. Another layer of that is the really rapid activations that we are getting through the solar flares, and this is a lot of electromagnetic energy moving kind of like in all directions. So people that are kinesthetic, that are sensitive, are having a lot of hard time right now because we are sleep deprived, we're restless, we're tired, we are just not physically well in general. There's a lot of headaches. I talk to a lot of my clients and people are experiencing that. And it's because the earth itself, too, as a sentient being, is also purging, right? All of the things that have transcended for so long, even before the human race as we know it was here. So there's a lot of things that are moving simultaneously, and it's like everything is up in the air. And people that are more sensitive are tapping into these things and feeling the chaos, feeling the stress and the density moving through. And I think it's a reminder for us to come back to center and really take a moment. Like self-care right now is priority, is a must. This is how we really fight all these agendas and everything that is happening to distract us so that we stay in that loop of like everything is chaos, everything is sad, everything is difficult. Yes, there's a lot of that. I myself is experiencing a lot of that right now in my life, but unlike, I remember constantly that I have the power. Where my energy and my focus goes, that's where I create. So if I put all of my intentions and all of my mind into like everything is shit, nothing is working, oh poor me, oh my gosh, like oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? Then I keep recreating more and more and more and more of that. And I'm a person of action, so I move. And when something comes to me, I move. I don't dwell in the things. I take action, and it would be really supportive for people to start identifying where all the distractions are coming from, because there's a lot in the media. People, like you said, there's just because there's all these things coming to the surface,
Yep.
and people are feeling it. Even people that perhaps didn't consider themselves spiritual, they're like, oh my gosh, where is all this stuff coming? And they don't know what to do with it. If they don't have the emotional maturity to own it and to know what to do with it, they're just gonna try to get rid of it, because that's the they just like go and try to dump it on somebody. And usually we attract, as very empathic people, we attract this type of individual that is about also having sacred boundaries within yourself. So knowing how much capacity you can take of other people, because our energy is real. And we all know that when you are in spaces or around people that feel dense or too much of it, like you're gonna feel it.
Yeah.
You're gonna feel it.
And I think I love what you like the way you explain it, because it's also what I feel, and the conversation I had this week. It's like everything that we have been holding on to that we have to let go is coming. Like it's coming up, it's purging up. But also at once I have pretty intense challenges, like personally right now. But it made me yesterday to shift into action in a way that I have been waiting for within myself to actually do, I would say. And it also has to do with stuff with my family, but everything is unfolding beautifully because I was standing in my truth and taking responsibility. So it's kind of what I feel as well is collectively, like you said, there are forces and there is an agenda out there that wants to keep the collective down. But right now it's so much purging up, so it like kind of it won't work.
Yeah, yeah. Because like many people are opening up in a way that they never
Yeah,
had. And like, what do I do with this awareness?
exactly.
And people are standing up for each other in ways that I have never seen.
Yeah,
I get contact all the time by people that are completely new to spirituality, and they just have this really huge realizations and awareness that they don't know what to do with it. And it's like you cannot try to suppress us anymore. Like we are as aware as never been as a collective force. And like working in the quantum, and like my analogy of the soup, that one ingredient affects the other and the overall taste of the soup, like it is really contagious. So when you're in your power, when you're in your knowing, when you are creating from a conscious space, it is contagious.
it
And it's
is.
contagious for everybody that shares space, physical space with you, and not, because we don't have to be physically connected. Like you and I, we have this connection, and like we're connected, right? It is like this bubble, this consciousness that we are creating, co-creating. And this is how it is. So it's really important because it happens to the best of us. And I talk to a lot of people. Some are in desperation, and some are starting to understand their power and starting to be in their power. But the work that we really need to make right now is to remember that we are here to experience it all the good, the bad, and the in between, and to have more presence with you, to have to pause through the chaos, because there's a lot of chaos right now. There's nothing to hide. There's so much going on, energetically, physically, politically, like in all the layers, in all the levels, in all the ways. So taking care of ourselves is not a fancy word. Like everybody say like self-care. Self-care is like it's a must in
It
my
is a must,
it
for
is a
sure.
must, and especially these days, like I have my tendencies of workaholism, and I've been catching myself because it's like I started my spiritual business, which I love, is my contribution. And my clients know that I love doing this, and it's like sometimes I can do it, overdo it. I don't easily say no, and especially it's like a difficult case, like requires attention right away. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm exhausted, I'm depleted, but I'll still take it. And I'm like, wait a minute, no, I need to be well. And for 2 days, I said I'm just not gonna do anything, and I had canceled a lot of things, which is not me. But it's like my body needs it.
Yeah,
My body
that's,
needs it.
oh, I'm
And I'm in
celebrating
that
you.
situation that I mean, I can do it. I know it's not possible for everyone, but oh my gosh, like I just been purging my own stuff that is coming through, that is coming to my awareness that I need to overcome. And something personal that I want to share is that every year I meet with myself with the beginning of the year or end of the year, and I'm like, okay, what is to come? What is for me to embody for the next year ahead? There is always a word, but this word is not just a word, it's loaded with energy, like this embodiment of something. And for me, it was this year was courage and power. And I was like, oh, that sounds so amazing, you know, like you don't know about me and me before, like I've been in the journey of overcoming my shyness and stepping into my power. And even if you talked to me 3 years ago, I would be like, not being close to speaking in public. There's no way in hell 3 years ago I would be able to do it. So that's my backer story. And for me to say like courage and power, and like, girl, the universe started like testing me.
Yeah.
Like right at the beginning of the year, I'm like, whoa, like, you know, like you think it's gonna be easy breezy stepping into new levels, like, and it's not, right? Like, it is not. And let's just normalize that, because sometimes people can romanticize the spiritual journey, or like idealize people that have these practices, and it's really not so graceful all the time, right? Because our bodies are like the caboose, right? Like we are like like different compartments of things that make us one. And sometimes we can be spiritually so advanced, so aware, so this, but like the body is catching up. Like, hey, wait a minute, like wait for me, right?
Yeah.
Because we have the physical body, and it's like sometimes it's that little bit of like needs to catch up. And if you can be gentle with yourself, knowing that, and just
Mm.
allowing yourself to, like, you know what, sometimes it's just not gonna look so great,
No.
and sometimes it's gonna suck, and sometimes you're gonna cry, and keep going.
And I think as well, like it's like you said, I had I hosted a masterclass in Australia in a group this week, and what came up was procrastination, the freeze response in the nervous system, and people pleasing. It was kind of three themes. And what I would like to add as well is what you were saying, with to be very kind and compassionate with yourself in this journey, but also allowing yourself to not spiritual bypassing the discomfort, to kind of step by step fall in love with the discomfort, in a kind of neutralize the emotional charge that it can bring. How you do it can be by breathing or taking a walk. I had to take a walk this week when I had, like yesterday, I had so much anxiety and old stories coming up. I was like, okay, out walking, calming the nervous system, and just like breathing. And it's cold here and it's snow, but just looking at the nature. And it works. It works every time. So I would say, if you feel right now, who's listening, that you are kind of trauma dumping on your partner or on your children or on your family, to truly go in and emotionally regulate. That's number one. And if that is taking a shower or going for a walk, or I don't know, do something you love, but to let the emotions move through you
Yeah, I love that.
without judging, and what do you say? Without judging or making the meaning like they mean something that is attached to the past. It's an old story, but try to be in the present and not give that old storytelling.
Yeah,
Is that,
because
does
it
that
keeps
make
going
sense,
on the
Erika?
background and gives it power, of course.
Yeah.
And I love that practice of rinsing and showering, because I do that, but for me, that's like the following step, because I am like
Yeah.
a big advocate of sitting with the sock, embracing the sock, the things that are really uncomfortable, those emotions that they are less than ideal, that we want to suppress and we want to put them down and we just want to feel great. And there can be a little bit of judgment, especially in these spiritual communities, that is like, okay, I feel dense, like I feel low vibe. Like there's this language around that is like, yeah, you're judging it like that emotion is bad, but what if it isn't? And I had something happen, and it's like, like the world always mirrors your inner world. So I had something personal showed up recently, and I just was sitting with I was feeling grief, and I was like, why am I grieving? Like, but I sat with myself, like really digging in, like, where is this grief coming from? And I got to the point that I was like, oh, I see it. And the grief was because I grew up in the dysfunctional family. I no longer have contact with them. I made that choice. And I am co-creating a life that I have a husband for 16 years that loves me and adores me, and we have great communication, and I have a kid that is fun and is playful, and it's like I am choosing and I'm creating something that has never been created in my lineage. I'm choosing joy, I'm choosing happiness, and there is that sense that I'm abandoning them. I am leaving them behind, and I was grieving that, and I was like, whoa. But if I didn't sit with myself, if I kind of repress it, I wouldn't got that opportunity to get to that. And it was so powerful because I was like, I cry
Mm.
because like I'm choosing me from a place of love, and they're choosing whatever dynamics they're choosing that are no longer support and beneficial for me, that don't allow me to be me.
Mm.
They can make the choice that they want, but I was like, it felt loving and it feels so peaceful with that choice. I was like, wow, so huge. And after my purging, after my crying, I was like, okay, I went on, took a shower, all that. And then 2 days later, I had a client with the exact same situation. And
Yeah,
she
of
was like,
course.
I'm grieving.
Yeah,
And I don't
always.
know where it's coming from. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, let me support you. And there it was. And there's just like all this huge purge and awarenesses. And then she felt amazing. That she was in tears.
But I want
But
to, sorry.
yes,
No, I just want to add something there. What came through, I maybe it was this night. It's also, and I think you already know, I'm not talking about bypassing to really be with emotions,
yeah, I know.
but the phrase of sitting with it, for me, I most of the time I can purge in my car driving, or
Yeah,
when I'm walking, or if I'm okay, I'm not running right now, but when I used to, when I
cool.
was grieving my dad's, when I had, after he died, I was crying and running, like that was, and this is like 8 years ago, but I was, I just want to also, like, there's no right or wrong. There's so many different ways of being. Okay, let's say being with your emotions, and like let them move through you, because I can also be like, can feel, you know, when you can like distract yourself, like, okay, this feels really uncomfortable right now, then I can kind of hone in and like, okay, wait here. There is a nugget, like there's a beauty, there's a magic in this. Don't. So I understand what you're saying, like to just physically sit, but for me sometimes it's also to walk, like even if I'm inside, even if
Yeah,
I'm,
yeah.
but you know, I can walk in circles sometimes and like, oh, this is so uncomfortable.
I love that you're sharing that, because what's coming up is like many times I heard people complaining about, I don't know how to meditate, like meditation sucks and all these things. And I'm like, well,
Yeah.
yeah, because it hasn't been broken down to you and you haven't found your way.
Mm.
Meditation in a nutshell is just being with yourself and your
Mm.
emotions and sitting there and breathing in presence.
Without
For
distractions, without distractions.
like I have the weirdest way to that. This is where I get the most downloads. This is what I really see with myself. And it's like two practices that people will be like, what? And one is ironing. I love ironing.
Yeah.
And washing dishes.
Yeah, washing dishes, I have that one as well.
And I'm just like there, like it's really like mechanical. I'm not really like, oh, it needs to be perfect, it needs to be shiny. I'm just like there. But I'm like, my mind is elsewhere.
Yeah.
Like all of these things are happening simultaneously, and I'm just sitting, I'm breathing, I'm present, and it's like that's my way, right? And sometimes I have a hard time with the meditation as we know it, like sitting for an hour or something like that. It doesn't work for me. I found that moving or doing an activity that is kind of quite repetitive work for me. So it's finding your rhythm, finding what works for you
And I
is
have
really
another one. I love this one, what you were sharing. Also, I have a fireplace. So it could be put the phone on flight mode, and I don't have any television or anything like that, but and sit and look into, because I love fires, and just be in my own space looking at the fire. So I'm kind of um, focusing my energy to the fire. So I'm looking at it and I'm feeling it, and just then I'm sitting, then I'm physically sitting. And then things start to shift, because fire for me is also a lot of stuff from past life. So let us go into past past life, present and future, and your future self right now, that everything is kind of simultaneously parallel in reality. Can you go in a little bit your
yeah.
quantum
Well, in my experience, and this is all my
experience?
experience, that I have tapped into other forms of me in
Yeah.
multiple dimensions and realities that have other values and other ways of being and other background and other all the things. And when I tap into clients or myself, past life, it doesn't feel so past. It feels like it's here in
Yeah.
like a line in the linear present. And it's like you can go and curate or remove or behave in a certain way that maybe you didn't in that moment that you consider the past and change it. And if this is all through processes, and then you come with the awareness of the now, you make a different choice. And of course, with only the focus of the present, this eternal now, that's when we really can affect the future. But we can also affect the past. And it's all with our gaze, with our presence, like going to that moment in time or going to that timeline, because they're so like simultaneously kind of like layered together, intertwined. And it's like choosing, because we are not have been taught the power of choice. And it's like choosing what works for you. And it's like in a way when you become the architect of your life, you're like curating how how do you move, how you moved. Let's talk about past, how you're moving now, how you project yourself moving
Forward.
forward in the
Yeah.
future. And that's what I talk a lot about, being a co-creator, because when we put there the gaze, like some people, and I lovingly say this because I used to not care and just go through life through the motions and be like a tumbleweed. And I refer to myself my own experience, and it's like you're not really owning your life. You're not really being in the driver's seat of your life. You're just letting things happen and unfold as as you think they should, but they shouldn't. And when you kind of like direct the energy back to you and be that observer, because I think the power that we take for granted, it is that observant. And in the quantum, everything that you observe or hyper focus or just gently
Yeah, I love that.
focus
Hyper focus. I love that.
transform and changes with your focus, with your gaze, with your attention alone. So that's how we get to move. And that's why I always say to people, like, make inventory of your life. That is so important. Working quantum, because if you don't know what's going on, if you don't know all the things in your life, how can you plan where you're going? Or how can you make sure you get what you signed up for, the
Yeah.
life with the joy and the purpose and all of the things?
Can
Because
I
when
add
we are,
something there? Which I love what you said, hyper focus, that a little bit like how we met in our co-creation, kind of what I feel as well is when you're tuning in and being, like you said, hyper focus, and at the same time, this is how I feel it. Like I feel like in my stomach a conviction, and it's subtle, it's strong, and it's solid. Like if you would physically push me, you wouldn't, like I wouldn't break down, or I wouldn't fall. Like that kind of, that's the emotions for me. But when you're so hyper focused, like I said, and so certain, you can shift like in an instant. And for me, it's been taking a lot of practice, I would say, to let go of a lot of density of energy and stuff. But I did something similar that we did, co-created with another, like on the masterclass.
Okay.
And if I would have gone in and started to force my downloads and my gift, it's like closing a door for me. But now I didn't. I just let it, like I just trusted myself, like, okay, it will come. And immediately it started to, come.
I love that because
Yeah,
it takes practice and it is
it does.
trusting your knowing, trusting what you receive because we are so used to doubting. It's like
Yep.
a common denominator for most of humans. Like doubt yourself, fear
Not
your
good
power.
enough.
Fearing your power is a recurring theme with all the people that I work, spiritual and not. It's like you're afraid of the power that you carry. We are,
Exactly.
that's part of the programming, that's part of the agenda. And it's like minimizing that to the point of like, okay, it's completely out of your system, out of your field, so that you can step into that version of you that you're meant to be. Because we
Yeah.
are meant to be in our power, we are meant to be in our sovereignty, we are meant to be in our autonomy. But the system has created an environment that makes us feel that it's not possible. And this is an illusion.
Yeah. But also, like you say, that it is um, when you are like, yeah, that everyone can do this. It's not just some
Yes,
secluded, I don't know,
yes, yes, yes.
percentage of humanity. And that is something that I feel out, like in also in the spiritual community. It's a lot of that I don't sign up for that. That some people might have the spiritual gifts, powers, psychic power, like whatever you call it, and some are not. Like lately, this week, I've been dreaming a lot about my twin flame, and he has been appearing in dreams, and it was very interesting. One of them, the dreams were very interesting because it was actually not him. So in the dream, I kind of called out, it was kind of a false, like disguised as him, but it wasn't. Very interesting. And we can meet in the, when we're dreaming, we feel each other spiritually, and we haven't spoken for quite some time right now because he's on his healing journey and everything he needs to do right now, and I'm on mine. But it was really interesting with the disguise. Okay, it was physically, but it wasn't about that. It was energetically. So it was kind of someone was trying to, I don't know, maybe not get to me, but I'm really proud that I woke up and I was like, oh, no, 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 no. This wasn't him. This was someone trying to, access me.
This happens a lot, and because spirits, non-physical, like they can shape shift and just like make us believe, and that's why like stepping out in our knowing, in our that is fundamental. Like that is how we can fight all of these agendas and programs. Is like the more you know yourself, the more you can activate your discernment, the more that you can activate your awareness that is available to all of us, not just to a selective few. Like people all the time come to me like, oh, just tell me things. I'm like, no, we all have this, and it's about kind of like it's how I perceive sometimes people is like they're so blocked, like they're their intuition, if it was a physical part of their body, it would be like inculcated in this bony structure.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, how can we just remove that density so that you can make it more fluid and more available and part of you, integrate it? And it's like working towards that, and everybody's at different stages, but like it is available for all of us. And I sometimes tell people, like, it's so easy, like you can just start practice, because like you were saying before, it's like the more you trust your
Yeah.
gifts, your knowing, your things, and you act on them, easy things like your phone is ringing before you pick it up. Just try to challenge yourself, like, okay, who do I think it is? Who do I feel it is? Who do I feel it is? And see what sense you get, right? Before, and then tapping into that, because like we live in this sea of information, like everything is available, everything is happening simultaneously. So we are just stretching our senses so that we can also receive information, and like it's possible for everyone. It is possible for everyone.
I love this. I don't know. I don't think we have time for this episode, but another one. I would also love for us, because to tap into the consciousness and how we actually can truly read. I say read now, but energetically, from kind of coming from the outside and looking down someone's life, someone's, like, there is stuff going on that we all can do with. But right now I don't find the word, so I will get back to you on that one. Oh, I will get back to you on that one.
That's all right. So we will have a lot of topics. So
Yeah.
just so you know, we have a lot of life experience as well. So there's a lot of things we can discuss and make it
Yep.
real, make it simple.
So
That's
what
how I
you're
want.
grateful for, or what do you want to know? What do you want to celebrate today
I want to
before we end?
celebrate the beautiful people that I intentionally call into my life, like yourself and so many others that are just make my life so amazing and so beautiful. And I just wish that everybody chooses that for themselves, that there is good people out in the world, and start calling in their community, because
Yeah.
part of the agenda too make us so divided, like everybody's bad, everything is chaos, bad, bad, bad everywhere, right and left. And it's like, wait a minute, like my heart is good. And it's like, okay, if your heart is good, there must be others whose hearts are good.
Exactly. Yeah.
So just choosing that, and tuning, focusing your attention on what you're grateful for, and the people that brings, I don't know, like delight into your life, because the more you focus, the more you attract them. And that's just want to share that.
I love that. I want to add on that one,
Yes.
because what I noticed this week for me has been, even if there's been discomfort and stuff coming out, that I have chosen to to have my heart open. And like you said, what's happening? The mirror effect is immediately in my family, with strangers. I've received, like, people are actually kind.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know that. I know that, and I always sense that, to be honest, but it's beyond. I received money from strangers. Like, it's just wild. And to also, it is a mirror, because I allow myself, okay, I will have my heart open, even if it feels like, oh, this is a little bit scary. So I celebrate that, and I celebrate you and us, and also the beautiful people I have in my life.
yeah, yeah. That's beautiful, because the more you focus on something, the more it grows.
Yeah.
It's like, like how we water our plants and how we take care of it. The more we care, the more we pay attention, the better it grows. And that's how life is, when you focus on the things that matter to you the most, and the things that you desire, because your desires matter. And if you desire a life of purpose, a life of joy, it's because it's possible for you. You
Yeah,
wouldn't have that desire randomly. It
absolutely.
is for you to claim. So really follow your desires, really follow your calling, really follow who you came here to be. And that's just the message that I want to share for today.
I love it. And for everyone's listening, we would love for you to subscribe, but also to, if you have any questions or if you want us to talk about something that you
Yeah,
want to
share the
hear about.
topic.
Yeah,
I love that. Yes, I
so we
love that.
can,
We would like to hear.
yeah.
Yes, yes,
Thank you
yes.
so much for
Thank
today.
you so much for staying with us and sharing like this collective consciousness that we are co-creating. And we love you. We send you so much love.
Yes.
And we see you next week.
See you next week.